Valentine's Day. Yeah, I said it. Valentine's Day. If you're single, all it is a reminder about how lonely you are. And if you're in a relationship, a lot of times you feel like it's a scam because she's either not going to appreciate it and you're going to be spending all this money for nothing, or if she does appreciate it, then you get the benefits of lovemaking, but that's something that you would expect her to do on a day-to-day basis anyway. It's kind of like Andre 3000 said, every day's Valentine's Day. And so I think it's a hyped up holiday, and I'm sure that you're thinking like me, that it's not really worth its weight. But one of the things that I do appreciate about Valentine's Day is that it's a reminder that, fellas, we have to take care of ourselves as well. So today when we step into a dressing room, I'm going to be talking about 3 ways for you to add self-care as a man to yourself. This is going to be about maintaining our concepts, how we show up, and the presentation that we give to the world. Let's step into a dressing room. Now, if you're new to the channel, we're all about personal development and personal presentation here. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified each and every time new content comes out. So what are we talking about when we talk about self-love? In truth, I think that we are talking about searching. Anytime that you hear somebody talking about love, they're usually talking about finding something. They're talking about finding their better half. They're talking about finding a passion. They're talking about figuring out or discovering some aspect of themselves that is brought on by another character. But what if we could do that by ourselves? What if we could begin searching and finding the different elements that make us who we are? To me, that's really what love is all about in this context. So the self is really the search. So we are searching for love within ourselves as we begin this journey on personal development. So one of the first aspects of self-love is self-acceptance. And this is something that a lot of guys are going to run into almost immediately, because we can't be taller unless we're going to do some extreme surgery. And when we have certain dealings when it comes to our physical appearance, we have to accept it and then deal with it. As my skin began to break out, I had to accept that this was a reality and then figure out ways for me to deal with it. And self-acceptance is a powerful thing, because what you can accept can change in order to be better. So if you are feeling a little out of shape or you are overweight, you have to accept that that is your reality. And then you can begin to make the necessary changes in order to be a better version of yourself. I recently saw a listing that says, you're not really a loser, you're not unattractive. You just need to spend some time in the gym, make sure that you're eating healthier, and make sure that you have a better style. And these things can immediately make you more attractive. They can give you 2 or 3 points as a bump up on the attractive scale in that space. And if you're willing to develop yourself, to develop your leadership skills, to develop your communication skills, to develop your emotional intelligence, well, now you are going to supersede a lot of these other people and be the best version of yourself, or at least a better one. And that is the ultimate sign of self-love. People can see that. So try this on. So the next aspect of self-love is self-centeredness. This is a space where we are not seeking to be selfish, but we are actually seeking or searching for our centered being. Now, what does that look like? Well, from a physical standpoint, we have accepted that we're tall, short, we're big, or we're small, and the things that we are able to control, we are going to change, we're going to develop, or we're going to evolve. And the things that we cannot, we accept. But beyond that, what we are starting to focus on is us. Or what do you like? What do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy experiencing? And how do you want to experience it? When you start thinking about these things, that then will create a certain standard for the life that you are seeking to live and that you're willing to work for. And once you're willing to do that, then you're going to start finding that the way that you show up in your style is going to be much more impactful. So you are going to invest in yourself a little bit more. You're going to find that you are creating your own outlook by the way that you outfit yourself. And you're also going to have more self-discipline and more self-control. On a day like Valentine's Day, there's a lot of young ladies who are lonely too. And they may not be the standard that you have set for yourself. It's not that they're not attractive, but they may have superficial elements that are not going to be beneficial to you. Or they may want you to pay to play. And as you get older, and we're all grown, you know that you don't have time to make that investment on something superficial when you have so much more to accomplish, which ultimately leads to self-confidence. And we always hear women talking about how they love a confident man. Well, you've accepted who you are, you've become centered, and now you're showing up as the best version of yourself. It's all about the checks and balances. Are you starting to love yourself yet? Have you accepted who you are? Have you begun to center what you want to accomplish and focalized it, being self-disciplined, so that you can create self-confidence? I hope you have. Or if you're committed to that, make sure that you put some comments in the comment box saying 100. The next thing that we have to focus on is being self-taught. Now, I don't want this to be misunderstood. Self-taught doesn't mean that you don't have coaching or mentorship. Self-taught just means that you have made the commitment in order for you to truly understand what a concept, a philosophy, or a perspective actually means for you. A lot of times we'll hear something from somebody and we simply regurgitate it, but we really don't have an understanding or understanding even of how we're experiencing that. But once you can repeat something or give something back to an audience in your own words, that's when you know you have really acquired that knowledge, that you have really taken in and started to understand what that information actually means for you. And when you're self-taught, that is going to show up in a very different type of way. A lot of times when I'm coaching guys in a dressing room and we're doing our one-on-one coaching on how to develop their style, and I see them make the transition, it clicks, well, then I start to see that they are transitioning from me just simply providing them with a concept to them being actually able to utilize that in their everyday life. This is when you really start to acquire your own personal style. This is when you really start to develop your own personal look. And there is nothing better than having that awareness of self, accepting it, then being centered by it so that you are more confident, and then having that reinforced because you have taught yourself how this is going to apply and work within your own life. Once you can do that, well, now you're showing up as the best version of yourself in multiple scenes and scenarios. And that's a beautiful thing. And something that every guy should try on, because I know that's going to fit them well. Now, once you've accepted, you've centered, and you've begun to teach yourself, you start to see how everything comes together seamlessly. And this is a great opportunity for you to then be self-sustained. This is when you realize it's great to have a partner, and interdependence is a necessary thing. We do want balance. We do want to experience somebody else, but we are now being capable of sustaining who we are until we find our proper balance, until we find that partner that is going to help us develop and help us grow, until we find our soulmate. And this is a beautiful space to be, because this allows you to have conversations, to have interactions with many different types of women, with many different types of friends, with many different types of your family members, and to accept them for who they are while not allowing them past a certain space or past a certain boundary. And this is the conversation that we hear a lot of women often talking about with men, that they should create these boundaries. Well, fellas should be doing the same thing, creating boundaries for the standards that they've set, because they've accepted themselves, their flaws and all, the good, the bad, the morning, and they are showing up as the best version of themselves. And they only expect the same from the people around them. And when a man has set that standard, when he's created that position and that scene and space for himself, well, now he's creating a structure and a space for love. And that's a beautiful thing. So even though I'm still like Valentine's Day, because every day should be Valentine's Day, this is a perfect opportunity for you to give yourself some love. Now, I know you're saying, Michael, that's all well and good. I love the concepts and I love the thought of self-love every day. But how do I begin to implement that into my life and style? Well, in the next video, we'll be talking about how to create practices for self-acceptance and how you can teach yourself to do so. So make sure that you check out the next video, and I'm gonna go ahead and step out of the dressing room. But before I do, remember that you're great and you are loved, even if it's just you loving yourself. And don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you, as you, should always dress to address. I'll see you next time. Peace.